Hello, people watching. Do you like my accent? Nah, I am from Britain. I'm from the country of Valorans. So, today is the last day of September, which means tomorrow is October, and I am super excited because October is one of my favorite months of the year, besides June and December. But October is gonna be freaking amazing because I love October, because it means Halloween and scary shit and dark stuff and call me weird, but I love that kind of stuff. I don't know why, I just have for the longest time, and I'm really excited for all of it to start happening. But anyways, the point of this video, I realized like a while ago that I told all of you guys that I love Justin, that I'm a believer and everything, but what I didn't realize is that I never told you how I became a believer. And so that's what this video is about. I'm going to tell you when and how I became a believer. So I'm making this video now on the last day of September because somewhere in the month of September, 5 years ago, and back in 2009, was the day I heard Justin on the radio and started to love him. So basically, September something, 2009, I was just chilling in my room, sitting on my bed. Not this room, it was my old room before I moved. The room had all of my posters and everything, and I loved it, and I miss it so much. But yeah, I was just chilling on my bed, listening to the Radio Disney, and they were playing the song, and I had heard it before, but this time I was listening to it more intently because I really liked it. And so I was listening to it. I didn't really understand any of the words at first, like I couldn't understand what the song was saying, but then after the song ended, I was like, wow, I really like that song. And then the DJ, I don't know who the DJ was, but the DJ said that was Justin Bieber with One Time. And I looked at the radio, and I was like, there's no way that's a boy. Because, I mean, I am kicking myself to this day for saying that, because I thought he was a girl at first because of his high voice, and I realized I made a mistake, and I am so sorry for that. But I mean, come on, can't say you didn't think he was a girl when you first heard him sing. I mean, at least back in 2009 and 2010 when his voice still hadn't changed. I mean, it's a common mistake, but oh well, his voice is changing now, so whatever. So back to the story, I was into the radio, and I heard it was Justin, and I was intrigued. I was like, wait, what? That's a boy? And so I had my laptop in front of me, or my mom's laptop that I was also using because I didn't have one of my own yet. And I went to Radio Disney's website and went to the top 20 countdown where Justin was listed, and I like scrolled down looking for the name Justin, and I saw Justin and then Bieber, and at first I thought it was pronounced Bieber because the way it was spelled. I was like, Justin Bieber? Okay, I don't know how to pronounce that. And then I looked to the side and see the picture of him, the one where he's wearing that hat, and he's on his bike, and he's leaning forward like this, and he's just looking at the camera, like no emotion at all on his face. And I saw him, and I was just like, where's this boy been all my life? Like, I just thought he was so hot, and I was just like, bam, in love. And so, like, I know it was September that I found out about him, because in October, I wrote in my diary. Yeah, I wrote in the diary. I don't anymore, but back then I guess that I thought it was cool or whatever. Or I guess I needed to write my feelings down because a lot of shit had been happening to me at that time, and yeah, I guess I needed to vent a little bit. But in my diary, I wrote that I had a new musical interest, and his name was Justin, and I spelled his last name wrong. I spelled it B-E-I instead of B-I-E. Again, common mistake when a person first hears about him. But I wrote that down, and so to this day, I'm like, okay, I wrote about it the month after I found out about him, so I would have to have found out about him in September. And so after I found out about him, I like started going online. I googled him. That was like the first thing I did after going to Radio Disney. I googled him and saw a photo shoot he had recently did on fanpop.com, and I started getting obsessed with going onto YouTube and watching his videos, and I think My World was just getting ready to come out, and like I had just found out that like next month My World was coming out, and I was like, oh my god, I have to get this album when it comes out. And so I had already heard like 4 or 5 of the songs from leaks on YouTube, and I remember hearing Down to Earth for the first time, and like I had no idea it was going to be such an emotional song for me now. And I don't know, it just like slowly started progressing throughout the months. Like I started buying merch, I started like watching videos of him, learning about him, buying magazines, constructing my postered room, and not this one, but and I just slowly grew, and I slowly started to develop more and more love for him, and it was just an ongoing thing, and it never stopped, and it hasn't stopped either. I mean, my love is still growing for him every single day. I mean, all because of that one day that I decided to pay attention to One Time on the radio. And that's why I consider One Time pretty much not my favorite song of Justin. I mean, they're all my favorite. I can't really pick a favorite song about Justin. But One Time is one of the most special songs for me because it's the first song I've ever heard. I mean, Be Alright and Believe are two very important and special songs to me. But One Time is definitely up there on the list because it's the first I heard of him, and it's the song that led me to hear about him and know about him and to start being a believer. It's the song that started it all. And so, yeah, it was a crazy experience because I had no idea that this was the boy that I was going to spend the next 5 years of my life infatuated with. Like, and so dedicated, and becoming a believer, and meeting some of my friends, and developing this YouTube channel to try to meet him, even though it's not going to work. And it was just a spur of the moment that that if I could go back to that moment, I would, because then I can make sure it wouldn't be changed at all, because Justin doing all that stuff and like being on the radio is the reason I'm here right now. Like, if I didn't hear him, if I didn't know about him, then I wouldn't be here. So that's basically how I became a believer. It was all because of One Time, and all because of Radio Disney, and I'm sure I would have found out about him later on because, you know, he was in the magazines and on TV and on the radio and everything, but in that moment in time, I found out about him, and I wouldn't trade that moment for the world because it was special to me and made up the rest of my life. So that's how I became a believer. And if y'all want to tell me your stories about how you became a believer, I love hearing those stories. So if you want to like leave a comment on how you became a believer, I'd love to hear it. And I'll see you next time, and have a great end of September, and I will see you in October.